Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Chris Collier, the host of Conquer with Chris, the podcast you don't want to miss. I have a great guest today. I have Jenny Ambrose. Welcome to the show, Jenny.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Before we get to Jenny, I just wanted to say something very special today. Conquer with Chris does a lot of different things, and I just want to let you know about one of them. Conquer with Chris helps you take your podcast, your YouTube channel, and help it bring it above the noise. Because on social media, there's tons of noise, and we want to get you above that noise so you can create harmony in your business, in your podcast, in your world, in your social media, and help you gain the audience, the clients, and the income you desire. So check out our website, conquerwithchris.com. Jenny, welcome to the show again. Glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you're located, what you do.
NBD. So I am an award-winning artist, designer, and business owner. I run Puree Fantastico, a design science and strategy business that blends anthropology, design messaging, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking so that I can make a big impact for my clients and they can make a big impact, therefore influencing culture.
So you pretty much is Thanos' gauntlet.
Well, I mean, for me, it's sort of like recognizing the flower and the leaf and the stem and the root.
And the background behind it that caused...
And the background, the whole picture. I mean, it's just the way my brain works. So I made a business that supports that because I wasn't satisfied being half in the other worlds I was in.
How did you come up with the name? I got to ask you. I know we didn't talk about that, but Puree.
Puree Fantastico, 2 languages, French and Spanish, that I don't speak, but it is the perfect embodiment for my approach. So it's one of my favorite stories ever. It's 2007. I'm sitting in JFK Airport looking through a design annual that I was published in, losing my mind with giddiness, just being like, oh, there's my work, yeah, not cool. And so I'm sitting there thinking, how can I possibly tell people all of the things that I can do, all of the things that I'm truly good at doing in an easy way like that? And my brain goes, Puree Fantastico. And I'm sitting there like, that's not a thing you say, brain. Like, that's not an answer. But it was for me. And so I thought, maybe that's like a song I heard or like a TV show or something.
But you said a song you heard.
Look, this is a repository for the most random things. I was listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival down on the corner out in the street. And I remembered a 1988 commercial with these stupid little cassette tapes that did a cover of that Creedence Clearwater song. And I'm like, I was 4. Why am I remembering this dumb commercial? That's just how my brain works.
Because it's a mnemonic device, really. You'd remember that because of the cassette tapes, little cassette tapes and whatnot. And it stuck in your head because it was like a cartoon to you. You were a kid, right?
It's just something that never has left. And there's so many instances where it's like, yep, I remember seeing that cartoon when I was 2, sitting on my grandma's bed. My memory is just insane. So Puree Fantastico, I bought the domain when I realized that there was nothing there. And when I was ready to do my own business, there was never another name for me that was better than that one.
That is great. And what does that actually mean to you? Like, I mean, I understand you were asking, your brain, yourself.
Yeah.
But what does it mean? Like, now you got some motion and some momentum behind it. What does it actually mean? Because, like, when I look at it, just to be honest, I'm not putting you down. Sometimes I'm funny. When I think of it, I think about all these ideas put in a blender.
Yeah.
And it comes out fantastic.
Yeah. And then you're not wrong. When the pandemic first hit, I'm like, you know what? I don't have enough time. I have enough time now to illustrate. And I illustrated the most ridiculous image that was a 1950s style artichoke holding books, a golden blender, and like rainbows coming out of it. I'm like, this is my mascot. This is correct. And it is that. It is a fullness. It is a silliness. It is an openness to creating things that should be in this world and are not yet.
Oh, that's great. I think that's something that needs to happen more. We need more people creating things that don't exist that should exist, right?
That's innovation.
Let's go back a minute though, because we kind of started in the middle, right? So let's go back. How did you get to that place of that Puree Fantastico hitting your head? We got to JFK, but let's go back before that. How did you get to all that?
Well, I've always been a very creative person. At 18 months, I was wriggling out of my crib to draw at my Sesame Street table, putting on Sesame Street by myself and just scribbles, ripping it off, being like, it's perfect. And so right away, my parents were like, she is an artist. And while that was true, I also learned how to sew. I was dancing. I learned how to play guitar. I was doing commercials, creative. But I did not think that you could get a job in creativity. I was like, well, I'm going to go with my other passion, which is learning, which is culture, which is language. Even from like the age of 6, I would imitate the Chinese movies my parents were watching from behind the couch and just make the sounds like an annoying child does because I was so fascinated with the differences. And so school was my best friend. In there, I took art classes. I loved math classes. I loved science classes. I loved everything. And when it came time to pick my career, I went with something academic. I went with anthropology because that was serious and loved it, had a great time, while also making stickers and t-shirts and whatever for myself using MS Paint because I didn't need the fancy tools. I just wanted to have fun. And that's how I started. I would put the stickers on my car and I would get notes from random people downtown. I want this sticker. Here's my phone number. And it was just accepting that my fun is actually an equitable experience. That took some time.
Let's stop right there a second. This is something most entrepreneurs, and what I say is pre-entrepreneurs, pre-thought leaders, pre-influencers don't realize. You have some intrinsic value in what you do, even in the fun you have.
Yes.
You've got business isn't always serious.
I would venture to say that my success is all from following the joy. Following the joy. It's why my backdrop is so outrageously joyful because it makes me happy. And if I'm happy coming into this office, sitting in my job, my clients are going to be happy. My work is going to be awesomely happy. I see no reason to change this. And so I never will.
So someone could say that the success in success is silliness.
Yes, I would say that. But there is that confidence that comes with, am I going to be taken seriously? And I would say I get taken seriously even more because I have the chutzpah to be like, guess what we do it now? Exactly. And then you laugh and people feel at ease with something that is maybe challenging.
It takes the salesiness away, right?
Yeah.
You're not the sleazy saleswoman that's going, buy.
And my first job was a bill collector at 16. Working for a scam telemarketing firm. So I very much understand I don't care, it's Christmas, pay your bill. And that's not something, at 16, you're on the phone, looking at tabloids, not caring, not connecting about the people that are on the other end. As an adult, though, it's definitely not the same thing for me. And after I worked in the corporate environment, incorporating empathy and emotional intelligence became even more important because it's so easy to say, design makes things beautiful, design makes things cool, and that's true, but design makes things work. Design connects with people, design moves and inspires people while also looking cool. But it does a job, and so for me, as long as that job includes the people that I'm working with and for, I am improving the design industry as a whole by including that piece.
So you grew up being all things fun and imaginative, and I really think in your logo you got to have a skeleton for anthropology.
You think so? That's archaeology. Anthropology is.
But isn't all the way everything's connected? Kind of. I was thinking more in a way.
Anthropology is more like why we as Americans eat turkey and cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving.
Or black-eyed peas on New Year's.
It's these strange and wonderful rituals and choices that we have in our culture that we take for granted. It's the cliches and the idioms and these weird messages that we recreate and repurpose. And when I went to design school to learn it the right way, because I did learn design on my own, I just didn't feel like that validated the trueness of what I wanted to do. So I put myself through design school, took out $100,000 worth of loans, will never regret it, ever. I saw design as a way to connect those stories and those messages.
Wow.
No one else did, okay? Let me just announce that loudly. Nobody else understood the things that were so clear to me. I mentioned math earlier. It's because for me, math is a language that shows connection, it shows relationships, it shows wonderful, wonderful things. And in art school, it was like, math. Why would you use math? Because it's the best way to show a relationship between people. It is the clearest and most concise way. Duh, obviously. Not obvious.
No, it's not.
Nope. But to me, so stupidly obvious. It's like we're both looking at the blue sky. That's obvious. This is also obvious. So I should have seen the fact that I was going to be an entrepreneur way earlier than I did, but I didn't see it. I really wanted the job with the people, the whole office fantasy. I very much wanted that, but I am outspoken and I am ambitious and I am determined. And I don't understand if I've upset you. I did not mean to step on your toes. I'm just pitching an idea. That's too upsetting. I'm sorry. It was just not a conducive environment for someone who's so full.
Creative.
Yeah.
When you deal with corporate, they want you in a box, right? We want you come up with a solution, but you got to stay in the box to do it. Don't go outside the box.
There is no box. There is no box. And that's the issue with Jenny Ambrose is I see no box. I see space and I see tentacles and I see glitter and I see all this weirdness. I see no confining. Gravity is my box. That's the truth where I'm I can't argue with gravity, but everything else I can work with. Everything else.
That's cool. So you got out of design school.
Yep.
You did the layout. And you're giddy about your the magazine.
Yep.
And you came up with Puree Fantastico. And then from there, I
had a corporate job for 6 months where I hated my entire life and then quit a few months before the 2008 financial crash because timing. But it's true. It was such a bad fit because I had gone from an internship where I took the admissions office of the school I went to, of my design school, and changed the way that they accepted students, changed the way that they treated that process, and took them from 33% to 77%. I changed their whole game. So I came in being I am smart. I know what I'm doing. This is what I'm here to do with my life. And the corporate agency was yes, but you're too much. Yes, but we don't like you. Yes, but. And I'm you know what? This is not for me. This is not for me. And the positivity that I experienced so heavily was never going to react to someone telling me what I was doing was wrong. Because it felt so, it's we're just not the same and that's okay.
It's like you're communicating one language and they're communicating a whole
Yes. Well, it really did feel like I had 8 heads growing out of my armpit. It's I'm not an alien. I am a human just like you. I am human just like you. And in the corporate attitude, they just suck the humanity right out. So I left being I will figure out another way. I will figure this out another way. And left New York, moved back in with my mom, super cool. And within a couple of months, I was found on Behance, which is a free portfolio site from a Moldovan company. So in Eastern Europe, needed a female designer for their female clients. Okay. So within 2 months, I've got 10 clients. Within 6 months, I'm design director for their entire team. So I am if there is a box, expands perpetually as I expand. And that's just the truth of it. So here I am on my own. At this point, I'm living in Los Angeles. I'm working from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. because they're 7 hours ahead. And I'm greeting them as they come in and I'm saying, here's what you need to do. And I'm working until they leave. And it's like, okay, what do I have to do? And it's just this crazy situation. And I got fired for asking for a raise. So you're like, that's great, man. I'm working on 20 clients at once, managing a team of 20 men who most of them did listen, but there were some that would not even participate because I was a woman. And so it's like, how do you deal with that? Where do you even go with that mess? I just want to make some brands. And while that's happening, I'm getting American Greetings in my inbox, wanting me to name and design their blog and do lines of cards. And I got Pop Sugar in my inbox. I need you to design their beauty award show. And so it was at that point where I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I don't need it. Now's the time to move forward with Puree Fantastico. And that's when I finally had the balls to do it.
Wow. And so what are you currently working on?
I'm currently working on 2 very different websites. One is for a therapist that I branded and wrote his copy, and it's a therapist website. The other is for a business coach where I branded and I did her copy and I'm doing her marketing. And it is like absurdist craziness explosion that is pushing my own creativity because it's like breaking all the rules. And it's like, are you sure? Yeah, this is what I want. I want it crazy. I want it to look crazy so that people know I'm right for them and people don't know I'm right for them. It's like, okay, let's do it. Okay. And so I'm working on that. And then there is a 13-year-long research project that I've been working on. That's my side baby that shows people the way that I approach design and think about it in a way that is exploratory and hopefully fun. Because to me, it happens instantly. It's like recognizing a face. So I was really tired of people not understanding that. And so I'm like, let me try. And 13 years later, it is about to launch.
Yay! So Jenny, how can people find you if they want to get in contact with you?
PureeFantastico.com, Facebook at Puree Fantastico, and Instagram at Puree Fantastico.
Cool. And do you have a favorite quote?
I am not the same person who started this sentence.
That's funny. That's a good one. I'm going to add one more segment to the podcast. This is brand new. Just came to me. I'm going to blame you because you're so outside the box and so fun. I'm blaming you for this. It's ask the host the questions. You got to come up with a question to ask me that I have to answer.
Okay. What does home feel like?
Home feels like a good pair of, I can't think of the word. A good pair of, what do they call those shoes? Not shower shoes, but the
Slippers?
Slippers. Yeah, like a good pair of slippers.
Fresh cut grass.
I was going to say fresh baked apple pie. The smell.
It's something I ask every incoming client. I love those weird abstract questions because they really help you to get to know people through all of the things that we think we should say and think we should be. There's that truth in there that really does come out when you ask more weird questions.
Those were the two things I was thinking about. A nice pair of slippers, fresh baked apple pie.
Comfort.
Well, I want to thank my guest, Jenny Ambrose, for being on today. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And I want to thank each of you for listening or watching, depending on what platform you're on. Please like, share, subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, hit that notification bell. And thank you so much. Have a great day.